How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be recapping UFC 325, wrapped up late yesterday. Pretty decent card. Some really cool finishes on the main card. The prelims were okay. The main event was, somewhat of a letdown, I'll be honest with you. Not because I didn't get it right, but because I think the fight was actually kind of boring. Pick wise, I went 10-3, which isn't that's pretty good, I'd say. But I did get the main event wrong, which will always soil a card. Speaking of which, let's get right into it. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. Yeah, man. Diego didn't really change a whole lot from his game plan. I think one of the only things that he really changed was adding more kicks to his game. I think that his leg kicks and body kicks were actually not that bad. But other than that, with the hands, he didn't change anything. I think Volk won round 1. Round 2 was pretty close, I will say. I think round 2 is actually a bit closer. I think this is the round where Diego ended up on Volk's back at the end of the round. Round 3 is a Diego Lopez round. I will say that. This is the round that he gets the flash knockdown in. Up to that point, Volk was winning it. When I saw the flash knockdown, I was like, because nobody reacted in the crowd, I was like, oh shit. I was like, did he even really knock him down? It was like, he definitely caught him with something. He caught him with a check hook, right? And then the replay actually proved it. Round 4. And round 5 was very clearly Volk. This was a very clear Volk round. And round 4, listen, either way you slice it, I think that Volk won this fight. I think round 2 and round 4 were decently close and competitive. I think that round 1, round 3, and round 5 are very clear rounds to score. Round 2 and round 4 are close, but I did lean towards Volk winning those 2 rounds. So at the end of the day, I think Volk won the fight. I think that's pretty consensus with a lot of people. And I think he either won it, you can either say 4-1 or 3-2, either way, or either way for Volk. I don't really think it matters. I do believe Volkanovski did win this fight. And I think the issue stems from, again, the game planning from Diego Lopez. He didn't change a whole lot. Now, I will say this, there were a lot more competitive rounds, I'd say, in this fight than the first one. I think the first time around, Diego really struggled to have competitive rounds. He was kind of a bit too risk heavy. In this fight, he was too not risky. You know what I mean? He was so out of the play that he didn't really do anything significant. He kind of was on the outside the entire time, let Volk work his kicks at range. He tried to work his own kicks at range, but his kicks are slow as shit compared to Volk, so Volk was able to read them pretty easily. It doesn't help that Diego broke both of his feet in this fight. He very specifically broke his right foot in round 5 very visibly. Landed on Volk's elbow. It swelled up immediately. I don't think that matters. Either way, it was the judges' scorecards were cooked for him anyways. Yeah, Volk's just too good for him, and I knew that going in. I knew that Volk was the better fighter. My predictions solely resided on Diego actually moving forward and, finding that knockout blow. And, sometimes fighters don't do what you expect them to do, especially considering he already has 25 minutes of experience with Volk, and the only times he had success in that first fight was when he was on the front foot, had Volk against the cage, and was making him move forward. Or making him, move backward and forcing him cutting off the cage a bit better. Diego really didn't do anything like that in this fight. He kind of kept it in the center of the cage, or let Volk circle him, kind of play like a matador, and tagged him up at range. That was really it. Diego didn't really change a whole lot. I think he actually regressed a little bit. I think this fight was a bit more clearer than the first fight, if I'm being honest. Not clearer, but I think that this was a clearer Volk win. In the first fight with Diego, I think there are 2 clear rounds for him. Rounds 2 and 4, I think, is the round that he hurts Volk's eye in round 4 in the first fight. Those are 2 clear Lopez rounds, in my opinion. This fight, there isn't a second clear Lopez round. There's only 2 other rounds that are like, oh, Diego actually did pretty good. You know what I mean? There's one clear round where he gets a very flash clutch knockdown that actually, if he didn't get that, he would have arguably got 50-45, let's be honest. Even though one judge already had it 50-45, which I'm not in huge agreement with, but like anyways, I don't really care. He lost the fight anyways. Yeah, Volk's too good, man. Diego is just... Listen, I know Diego was going to be slow. I knew that he was going to be kind of playing from behind most of the fight. I thought that he would have looked a bit... He did look a bit more technical, I will say that, but I think that was to his detriment in a way. In this fight, Diego needed to be on the front foot, on the gas, kind of pushing Volk back. Instead, he kind of resided to be more technical, work the outside foot battle, try and, trap Volk, land body kicks to try and, like... If you're Diego Lopez, you don't need to set shit up. Just fucking go. Make Volk uncomfortable. You can't let him stay on the outside, try and go tit for tat. That's where Volk is most comfortable. You need to catch him when you're going forward. That's the way to win this fight. You need to do that. And he didn't do that, and he ended up losing. Again. Do I believe that Diego Lopez will never become a champion? I don't know. I don't know what to say to that right now. Do I think that he'd beat John Silva if they had a rematch? No. I don't really know. Diego is so weird to predict because Volk is just that good. But I could see Diego, beating a Mavzar or a Yair or a Lerone. They need to make him and Yair Rodriguez now. Or I'm going to fucking lose my mind. I don't know what you do with Volk next. I don't know if you do the winner of Evloev versus Murphy. Or if you do, But I think that Yusuf and Aljamain are the fight they're making next for there. John's kind of the odd one out, but I don't think he deserves a title shot. I don't know. I don't want to see Volk sit out too long, though, if he's going to stay around. You know what I mean? I want to see a bit more activity from him. I know that's crazy to ask. I know Volk fought a shit ton during his title reign, but I would like to see a bit more. I'd like to see at least 2 title fights per year from Volk. Especially, he didn't really take a whole lot of damage in this one, to be fair. So, apparently he said he had a rough training camp, but yeah, it is what it is. Volk, clear win. Diego, still kind of just... I don't know, he improved. He definitely improved, but I think the improvements actually led to him losing this fight more clearly, in my opinion. I don't know. It's one of those weird ones where, his style, he needs to be wild against Volk, but he resided for a more technical kind of masterclass type of performance, and he's not that good. Even if he did improve, he's that much worse than Volk. Not that much worse than Volk. It's just that Volk is that good. That's the difference. So, yeah. Volk clearly won. We move to the co-main event, Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, from here on out, I got basically every pick right except for the first 2 fights. So, you're going to hear me gassing up some people. Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Yeah, man. Honestly, I will say this. Dan Hooker was winning the first, 3 minutes of the first round against Benoit. He was chewing him the fuck up with body kicks really hard. Really hard teeps to the body. It was hurting Benoit every single time he was using it like a jab. And I was like, God damn, he's really fucking up Benoit with those body kicks. And I was like, oh, is Benoit about to get fucking beat up the entire fight? Because he was getting hurt to the body so much that Benoit was not moving forward. And that's when you know that shit's bad for Benoit. Because he's like, oh shit, Benoit's not moving forward? This can go really bad. But then midway through the round, I think Benoit really just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to move forward and see what I can do. And he just he did what I believe Diego should have done. Move forward with reckless abandon. And Benoit, that doesn't even really suit Benoit. It suits Diego more. Diego's got a better chin. We've seen Benoit get finished and hurt a multitude of times. I know we've seen Diego get hurt a couple times, but you know what I mean? Volk doesn't have that necessarily, that great power. But anyways... Dan Hooker just teeping him at range, beating the fuck out of him, tagging him up. And then midway through the round, Benoit was just like, I'm just going to move forward and see what he can do. And lo and behold, Dan Hooker on his back foot had no idea what to do and was getting involved in too many clinch scenarios. And Benoit started to get his takedowns. What Benoit is so good at doing is dragging his competition down to his level. If you know what I mean. Benoit is gassed out by the end of round 1. He is. He's not gassed out, but he is very, very slow by the end of round 1. But his pressure and pace is so goddamn high that everybody that he fights, usually, Moicano even slowed down, and that's after a round of beating his ass. Poirier even slowed down excessively. Ruffy slowed down excessively. He is so good at dragging people down to his level, where it's like, this fucking sucks. But Benoit lives for it, and he's able to drag people around, kind of murder them. At the end of round 1, it was like, goddamn, Benoit's fucking him up. Round 2 shows up. Look at these numbers. He's doing this to Dan Hooker. I know Dan Hooker's not the best, but he's fucking him. He had arguably a better performance, not a better performance than Armin, because Armin actually didn't take any damage. But I think Benoit's escapes from submission attempts were a bit better than Armin's. Actually, no, Armin ended up on top. Benoit actually ruined his grappling, and it was actually good from Dan Hooker. But Dan Hooker actually initiated the grappling in round 2. I know it's crazy. The end of this fight started, I know it shows 3 takedowns. Dan stuffed all 3 of these. It was this one from Dan. He tried to go for a 50-50 judo throw type position with Benoit Saint-Denis, and it ruined his chances of winning the fight because he immediately fucked it up and then ended up in bottom top mount. Like a fucking idiot. I don't know why Dan went for a takedown. Doesn't make any sense in my opinion. No idea why he would do that. Literally ruined his... And he was so salty after the fight. You're the one that lost the fight for yourself. Who knows? Maybe you stuff all the takedowns in round 2 and end up fucking up Benoit in round 2. Who knows? We'll never know because you went for a 50-50 judo throw position, you fucking idiot. Benoit gets top mount, just starts raining down shots, chaining in arm triangles with the shot with the just elbows, 12-6 elbows, just riding through Dan Hooker's fucking forehead. And eventually it gets to a point where Benoit is searching for these arm triangles, and he's like, this isn't working. Dan Hooker, his arm's too long. He's got really solid arm triangle defense. Seemingly he practiced it after the Armin fight. And Benoit was like, I'm just going to throw punches until he just stops moving. And lo and behold, after 30 seconds, Dan Hooker he stands still, shells up. Not stands still, he stops moving, shells up, and Herb Dean is forced to stop the fight. Brilliant performance from Benoit Saint-Denis. And to be honest, I don't even think this is a circumstantial thing at this point. I think Dan Hooker is just that washed. I think Benoit is that much has that much improvement on his career at this point. I think that any version of Dan Hooker post Poirier, obviously, which is what most people have seen by now, Benoit beats that version of Hooker any day of the week, I think. I think Dan Hooker is just that mid now, which sucks. It does suck, but look at this. After Poirier, it's loss. Goes on a bit of a win streak here. This is a very close fight. This is a bum. This is arguably a robbery. I don't know. I think Dan Hooker's on his way out, and I don't really know what you do with him next. Benoit might jump Patty. He might. They'll probably just slot him in at 6. I tell you what you do with Dan Hooker. We move to the featured fight, Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Ruffy. You do fucking Ruffy versus Dan Hooker next. I think that'd be a sick fight. Because one, it's not a grapple fight for Dan Hooker. We actually get to see striking from him. And a fight where he's not going to fear the takedowns. And Ruffy knocks out Rafael Fiziev in round 2 in a pretty solid performance. Round 1 is a very close round. I do edge the first round to Rafael. Just based off visuals of him moving forward the entire time. He was landing pretty solid shots, really good kicks to the body. Ruffy was landing on the back foot at a pretty impressive accuracy clip. Obviously, you can see it was 50-68. But I do believe that the moving forward from Rafael, he looked like he was throwing harder shots, this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter what you score the first round. Because round 2 rolls by, and I'll tell you what, Ruffy was winning this round up to the point of the knockout. It doesn't matter about the knockout. He was winning it, and then he hurt him. Rafael kind of just is staring at him. He's kind of jittering, staring at Ruffy. Ruffy was looking for this really long, overextending right hand the entire fight. He was looking for it. You could see he was kind of He was kind of plotting himself. He would kind of look for it, see if it was there, and then he would kind of go back to kind of shifting around, plot, see if it's there, go back to, shifting around. And he plots himself, and Raphael's standing right in front of him. And he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to wing it out there. And he fucking shit chucks this right hand at Raphael's face. And goddamn, I haven't seen a version of a person's legs betraying them so much in recent times than this fight. Raphael got hurt so bad. You could tell that he was still there. His legs, he literally couldn't walk. He was fucking he was chicken dancing across the entire octagon. And then Ruffy's got, I'll tell you what, Ruffy's got really fucking good finishing instincts when he's not fighting a guy that weighed 20 pounds overweight in James Yontop. Not 20, you know what I mean? But like, he missed 165. He missed weight technically by like 12 pounds or some shit. Anyways, yeah, Ruffy fucking plotted that, just fucking boom, huge right hand, doesn't drop Fiziev with that, hurts him really bad, and then he follows him around. He doesn't just shit chuck a bunch of shots. He waits. He waits to see where Raphael's gonna put his head, kind of plants, he doesn't throw where Raphael's head is, he throws where it's gonna be. And that's why he was able to find this finish, because Raphael was kind of all over the place, and Ruffy waited for where he was going to be, caught him. Raphael's legs keep betraying him. And to be fair, Raphael, even when his legs weren't working, his head movement was still pretty good, because even when Ruffy was doing that, like waiting, Raphael was still evading some of the shots. It just so happens that Ruffy kind of bulldozed into him, put Raphael into like a sprawl position, and he just couldn't get up. He couldn't stand up. That's how hurt he was. And Ruffy kind of switches to the back, starts throwing a bunch of pot shots on him, and Raphael, the fight's forced to be stopped. Raphael can't move. He's stuck there. He's stuck in that position getting wailed on. It's a brilliant performance from Mauricio Ruffy and a masterclass of counter-striking, in my opinion. And Ruffy, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't stay training with Volk after this fight. I wouldn't be surprised. It makes a lot of sense if he stays with Volk, because this was a way more laxed version of him, and he looked way better in this fight. He looked more willing to throw. And you could maybe attribute that to maybe the game planning from Fiziev. I didn't really like the game plan. I thought if he was to win this fight, it would be through grappling, which he didn't do really any of. He kind of did. He threatened the takedown a couple times, but didn't really do a whole lot of it. So Ruffy's going to jump from 14 all the way up to... He's probably going to jump Gamrot. He probably jumps up to number 8. Ruffy is what's going to happen. I mean, you could do Ruffy versus Patty. Ooh, that'd be a gross-ass fight. Ruffy Patty? That'd be kind of sick, actually. You could definitely do that. I don't mind that at all. I think Ruffy, Dan Hooker, Ruffy Patty, I think that all makes a lot of sense. I think you could definitely get around those types of fights. But yeah, Ruffy, brilliant performance. We move to Tai Tuivasa versus Taliesin Teixeira. This was a disgusting display of MMA. Arguable 10-8, round 1. I didn't give it to him, though. Taliesin just gets a takedown very early. Tai was like, very shit, like, I'm going to throw something big at you. Taliesin ducks under, gets a double leg. Round 2, pretty similar thing. Stays on the feet a bit longer. Round 3, Tai Tuivasa won round 3 against Taliesin Teixeira. I fucking hate that. I hate that for Taliesin Teixeira. I thought Taliesin was going to finish him, and he didn't. And I hate that look, because I think that really shows how bad Taliesin Teixeira is. Maybe it's because he's too young. Maybe it's because he's uncoordinated for his height. Tai Tuivasa is shit. He's not good at fighting. I think there are several lighter weight class fighters that could end up actually beating the shit out of Tai Tuivasa. I'm being so serious. Taliesin out-grapples him, beats him up. Tai should honestly retire. He should get cut. He's 0-6 in his last 6. He's not even... These fights aren't even entertaining. They suck. So Talison's going to jump to 12. I don't even know what you do with him. Ante? Do you do Ante? Is Ante? Yeah, Ante has already got a fight with Spivak. Maybe you do... I say you do Mick Parkin. I don't think Talison deserves a fight up in the rankings. I say you do him and Mick. This was a brutal display of MMA. These are top 15 heavyweights, and it was fucking dreadful to watch. Horrible. We move to the start of the main card. Killen Salkeld versus Jamie Malarkey. Absolute brilliant grapple fest from Killen Salkeld. Kind of 50-50 positions most of the fight. The stand-up was pretty, lackluster from both. They didn't really throw a whole lot on the feet. It was a lot of clinching from both. Killen went for a couple body kicks and low kicks. Jamie was trying to use his reach. The grappling was kind of evens for a little bit. I was like, this is getting kind of, nifty. Killen gets a beautiful throw in the clinch with Jamie Malarkey. Slams him hard as shit. Jumps on his back immediately. Ends up getting a short choke, just cranking the fuck on Jamie Malarkey's chin. You could see him, compress himself. And it was like, oh my God. And Jamie Malarkey's so white that when he peeled back, his shit was even more pale than it was already. Brilliant performance from Killen Salkeld. I would like to see a step up in competition next time for Killen Salkeld. I will say this. Me and Caden were talking. If you remember Caden from the Thug video. I think that a Michael Chandler matchup would be fucking brilliant for Killen Salkeld. Now, I know that Michael Chandler is dead set on getting on the White House. I know that. I know that is something that he's looking to do. Hear me out, though. Imagine Chandler killing Salkeld in Miami, or because I don't want to see Killen wait out a whole time, a lot of time at least. So if Michael Chandler isn't the matchup that you go with, you could go with somebody very close to the rankings. You could do him and Grant Dawson. That would actually be a pretty decent fight, I think. Grant Dawson, you could do him versus Hernandez, Alexander Hernandez, once he's, healed up from whatever he got injured with. You could do him versus, who's another, close to being ranked? Rebecca. You want to do Chris Duncan? Chris Duncan would be a sick fight for him. If you're not going to give Killen Salkeld, because I don't think another ranked matchup really makes sense given career respective-wise, unless you throw him deep in the fucking rankings, which I don't want to see yet. I want to see Quillen build up. But I do want to see better comp than Jamie. Jamie is not even his second best opponent he's fought in the UFC, if I'm being honest. I think Yanal Ashmouz is better, and I think that Nasrat Haqparast is way fucking better. Nasrat beat the shit out of Jamie Malarkey when they fought. Brilliant performance from Killen Salkeld, though. So if we're not going to give him a ranked opponent, give him one of those three guys. Chris Duncan, Grant Dawson, or, Alexander Hernandez is another really good shout. Somebody who's actually winning in the UFC. You know what I mean? So let's move to the featured prelim. Sorry if I sound very congested, by the way. I am sick. Junior Tafa versus Billy Elikana. Wicked fight, honestly. I was very shocked. Round one, Junior Tafa drops the fuck out of Billy Elikana like a sack of potatoes. It was a rough knockdown, and I was like, oh shit, he folded him. But in traditional Tafa fashion, doesn't find the finish. Round two rolls by. He's a bit tired, and Billy Elikana is able to work his striking into grappling, gets a takedown, and almost immediately once he got the back, he found the rear naked choke. I don't know what it is. Junior Tafa just has no submission defense at all in his career. None whatsoever. He genuinely has no idea how to stop submission attempts, which is sad. Because, here's the thing. I don't think Junior Tafa sucks that bad. It could just be a disciplinary issue where he doesn't train hard enough in the grappling to warrant more and more improvements in that area, which, in itself is a skill issue, to be fair. You need to have more discipline. But it's just whenever the fights hit the ground, he just doesn't know what to do. He has no idea what he's doing. And I know he's like, oh, I came here to fucking bang tough gang, brother. You gotta fucking You gotta try. You gotta try. You can't rely on just one punch KO power, which he knocked down Billy Elicana, which we haven't seen. You know, Billy Elicana, obviously Bogdan Guskov finished him, but that was like a pity thing. That was just like him so gassed out that he couldn't do anything. Billy Elicana, just once this fight hit the ground, he was like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just going to put my arm under his chin and win. And that's exactly what happened. Like, the second he put his hooks in and then got the back and then threw his arm under his chin, Tafo was like, oh, no, brother. Oh, shit, brother. And it was over. It was fucking over. Good win for Billy Elicana. Not really. Junior Tafo I don't think is all that great. I know I just said that he's good. I think he's good in respect to his brother, Justin, who I think is actual horse donkey. Even for heavyweight. That's terrible. That is awful. So good win for Billy Elicana. Junior Tafo honestly should probably get cut. How many wins does he? He's like, 2-4 in the UFC now? I don't know what I just clicked on. We move to Cam Rouston, Cody Brundage. Cam Rouston won by second round TKO. Iffy performance, though. Cody Brundage almost found a finish in the first round, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Cody actually hurt Cam really bad in the first round. I don't know if it's because Cam was kind of trying to, like, aura farm a little bit, kind of, mess around on the feet with Cody. Cody's got that weird, like, power and wrestling mixed together, where I was like, oh, fuck, he might finish Cam Rouston. This might be, like, the one win per 5 that keeps him on the UFC roster. But no, Cody again fumbles a finish. Round 2 rolls by. Cody's output is just significantly less in this round. Obviously, you can see just the strike number differential. This is 4 minutes into the round. Round 1 he threw 44 strikes. Round 2 he threw 23. You know what I mean? Like, you see the clear difference. He's just super tired in round. Not super tired, but he's like, all right, this kind of sucks now. I don't want to be here anymore. Cam Rouston kind of starts chewing him up a little bit. Finds a big shot. Cody kind of just slumps to the canvas, kind of looks for the armadillo position like an Anthony Smith. And Cam Rouston finds a finish. So, yeah, it is what it is. Cody Brundage, again, another fight where he looks okay and then gets finished. What are you going to do? Cam Rouston wins another fight in the UFC. He looked okay. I'm not, listen, Cam Rouston's all right. We'll see how he does against, actual decent competition at middleweight. You know what I mean? Even though Andre Petroski has, a really solid record for some reason in the UFC, he's not that high level in my opinion. And that's saying something because I picked him to beat Cam Rouston. Anyways, let's move to Jacob Mamba Malkoun versus Terez Finney. We finally found out what happens when Terez Finney fights even an ounce of solid competition in middleweight. We get this striking number. Round 1, he beat the shit out of him. Arguable 10-8. Terez did literally nothing in this round. He literally got beat by a jab. He got beat by a jab by Jacob Malkoun, who, to be fair, like I said, has a good jab. He doesn't have a jab that can literally stump your entire game within 30 seconds, though. And to be fair, and by the way, Terez Finney, I don't know what he did to his knee in round 1. I'm not sure if anything actually came out about that, but apparently Terez Finney really fucked up his knee, which, that sucks. Hopefully it's not something too serious. Round 2, Terez almost knocked out Jacob Malkoun with only 8 significant strikes. I don't know what it was. I think it was a left hook that he just threw from fucking Narnia. He just launched himself at Jacob Mamba Malkoun. And Jacob was like, oh, shit. When I saw that happen, I was like, no fucking way he fluked this KO, dude. And he didn't, to be fair. Jacob eats it, kind of gets a clinch position, kind of survives a little bit, clears the cobwebs. Goes right back to jabbing the face off Terez Finney. Round 3 rolls by. And shockingly, the best round for Terez Finney, 2 rounds after tearing his ACL. Or whatever he did. He's fucking swinging for the fences. He's actually landed pretty solid shots. But once he does that, Jacob's wrestling is able to come into fruition. He's able to find takedowns pretty easily because Terez is overthrowing himself. And Jacob, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of him not finishing this fight. You have Terez Finney on one leg literally the entire fight and you're still not able to finish him. I fucking hate that look, to be honest. I know Jacob isn't the best finisher, right? He's more of like a, top position grappler. So, like, obviously, I don't think he's at the best finishing instincts. But against Andre Petroski, he fucking dropped him with his hip and then kicked the shit out of his body, which was a brilliant move, because that fucked up Andre bad. Yeah, I would have liked to see him find a finish here. I don't think Therese Finney's all that good. Obviously, you got proven tonight, or yesterday, excuse me. But yeah, I would have very much liked to see a finish from Jacob Malkoun. I'm not a huge fan of him not finishing this fight, but yeah. Decent win for Jacob Malkoun. We move to Jonathan Mikhailov versus Oban Elliott. Decent scrap. Jonathan looked very slow early on. Very, very slow. Oban was kind of teeing him up on the feet. Jonathan was getting packed up pretty bad. But then he lands a brutal right hook when Oban's coming in. It was so slow, but Oban just kind of ran into it, drops Oban for a second. Jonathan looks for a finish. Can't find it. Gets bloodied up a little bit. Round one's weird to score because it's like one of those things where like he was getting beat up literally the entire time. It's like Diego Lopez Volk round 3 in the second fight, where it's like it was a flash knockdown. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was a flash knockdown at the end of the day. He did shut him off for like a split second. So it doesn't matter either way, because in round 2, it's like the first round all over again. Oban's teeing him up on the feet. He gets a little overzealous, gets into a clinch position, and gets fucking thrown. Jonathan gets a throw over Oban Elliott, immediately ends up in top mount. And Oban, I don't know what it is for a guy who showed such good grappling against Preston Parsons, against, great offense against Val Woodburn. When this guy's on his back, man, he is fucking ass cheeks, man. I don't know what, he can't get up. He cannot get up. And I know that it's hard to say because Suk Hyung Ko has looked brilliant thus far in his career, and Jonathan Mikhailov, as I said, is a grappler at heart. Jonathan just he fucking engulfs him on the ground and gets his back and finds a rear naked choke. And to be fair, Oban was fighting it off for like 20 goddamn seconds, which was a long ass time. He gets choked unconscious and the fight's over. So Oban Elliott drops 2 in a row. Jonathan Mikhailov wins his second fight in his UFC career. Good shit for Jonathan Mikhailov. Yet again, another finish for him. Even though he won by decision in his debut, that's his second submission win under the UFC. Like, on the Contender Series, he won by submission. Yeah, Oban's got to go to the drawing board, man. To be fair, these are 2 rough opponents back-to-back. But got to work on some things. Great performance from Jonathan. Not great performance, but, like, good opportunistic value on Jonathan Mikhailov, to be fair. We move to Con Offley versus Yi Jia. This was a terrible robbery, in my opinion. I thought round one could have gone to Yi Jia. I did give it to Con Offley. Round 2 is arguably a 10-8. It doesn't show it. He got only 1 knockdown. He visibly had Con Offley hurt like 8 times in this round. That's a 10-8, in my opinion. He had so many opportunities to finish the fight, though. Round 3 rolls by. Very close round. I thought Yi Jia won this round. There is an argument Yi Jia could have won this 30-26, and he ends up losing it via majority decision 29-28, 29-28, 28-28. That's a brutal robbery. In my opinion, this is either you give round 1 to Con Offley, which I did. It's either a Yi Jia win or a draw. It's either that, because listen, it's a close third round. Yi Jia did have some takedowns in there, and I'll say this, Khan looked way better in round 3 than he did round 2. But it was still, I thought Yi Jia landed pretty solid shots in round 3. I don't know. Listen, this is a bad beat because Yi Jia was an underdog, right? No, he was the favorite. What the fuck? This is just blatant Australian bias then. Even though I think Khan does rep Australia, but I think he also on Tapology, I think he reps like fucking Turkey or some shit. I don't know. This is a bad beat, man. I thought Yi Jia clearly won this fight, in my opinion. And that as someone who picked Con Offley, I was a little shocked when I heard these scorecards, man. We move to the Road to UFC lightweight finale, Song-Woo Kim versus Don Marfan. The only one that I got correct, and it was a dogfight. I thought Don Marfan won basically every round. I thought round 3 could have gone to Song. I don't know. It's a tough fight. Song-Woo Kim's got a fucking chin on him. A lot of this fight was just Don Marfan being a bit busier in the clinch and having way more speed on the feet. But as the fight went on, Song-Woo Kim actually started landing really good shots. So I'm not mad at a 29-28 for Don Marfan. He had Song-Woo Kim's eyes. He had him cut around the eyes, kind of teeing him up a little bit. The grappling was pretty sick whenever it got there. But yeah, I think Don Marfan did win 2 rounds. I thought he won round 1 and round 2 very clearly. So round 3 was close. You could give it to either way, but I do think that Don Marfan overall won this fight. Pretty good, pretty solid appearance from both guys. I wouldn't mind seeing either, like, Song-Woo Kim get an appearance on the Contender Series later this year, or just get signed up. Maybe for is he Chinese? No, he's South Korean. Maybe Macau. They put all Asian countries on Macau in May. So like maybe like another appearance. Maybe put him on Road to UFC again. You never know, man. They're running Road to UFC back. I think Song-Woo Kim's got something about him. Even though he's old. How old is Song-Woo Kim? He's like 32, right? Yeah. I don't mind seeing him back. I think Song-Woo Kim, he's got a hell of a chin on him. I don't know if Don Marfan's going to go far. Like, I do think there's very big holes to exploit with him. I do think we didn't see the best of his abilities, though. Because he is a primary wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy. But this guy, Song-Woo Kim, is also a primary wrestler jiu-jitsu guy. So it was kind of forced them to fight in the clinch and just on the boxing. And I think Don Marfan is just better than Song-Woo in the boxing. That doesn't mean that he has good boxing. Let's make that very clear. He's got an okay jab, but he doesn't really set up anything crazy on the feet. Let's move to the Road to UFC featherweight finale. Keiichiro Nakamura versus Sebastian Zlay. Man, this was hard, bro. Sebastian was clearly up 2 rounds over Keiichiro. Round 3, he was kind of coasting, and Keiichiro was getting very close with head kicks, and he brought one up, and Sebastian kind of leaned into it and caught a knee to the mouth and got knocked out for it. It sucks, dude. Because Seb was he very clearly won round 1 and round 2. He got a knockdown in one of these rounds. I think it was round 1. He was beating the shit out of Nakamura. Round 3 rolls by. He kind of starts coasting in the shots by Keiichiro were getting closer, and I was like, ooh, this is kind of stay on your feet, Seb. And then he gets caught. So Keiichiro is in the UFC. Seb, get him on the Contender Series, I'd say. Sebastian, even though he's older, he's what is he, 31? He's 31. Get him on the Contender Series. I think Sebastian Zlay has got some stuff to him, and I think he can become something. So I think you put him on the Contender Series. Good win for Keiichiro. I don't think he'll become anything. If I'm being honest, he's huge, but he's not very good. He's got good finishing instincts, but other than that, he's mid. We move to the start of the entire card with the Road to UFC bantamweight finale. Sulang Rangbo versus Lawrence Louis. Somehow a split decision. I thought Sulang Rangbo won round 1. Round 2 and round 3, however, are Lawrence Louis rounds. They just are. I think the grappling from Lawrence Louis was too much, especially in round 2. He started to kind of drag Sulang Rangbo to a grapple-heavy fight. If Sulang Rangbo threw just a bit more, though, I think this could have been his fight, especially in like round 3. But I think he became too uppercut heavy. He was searching for that uppercut, which is something that I said he does a lot. But Lawrence Louis actually did look okay in this fight. He actually had some, pretty solid. He did some pretty solid stuff in this fight. I'll give it to him. The grappling in round 3 was too much. Same with round 2. Kind of dragged Sulang Rangbo to that fight where he got tired. And Lawrence Louis is like, even though he's tired himself, he can still push himself in those positions. Even though he didn't do a whole lot of damage with the grappling, he did just do a bit more than Sulang Rangbo in round 3 and 2, which is like, that's what matters at the end of the day. Even though Sulang did land good shots in round 3, those are all at the very beginning of the round. As the round went on, he just kind of got mauled in the grappling. So, I can somewhat see a split decision just because of round 3. I thought Sulang did land some really good shots. But, like, he got held down for like 3 minutes in the round. You know what I mean? And Lawrence did land some stuff with the shits, with the takedown. So it is what it is. UFC 325 was all right. The main event kind of stunk. I don't know how it won fight of the night. If anything should have won fight of the night, it probably should have been Price. I don't mind Sungwoo Kim, Damar Fan getting fight of the night. I thought this fight was pretty sick. I don't think Volk and Lopez deserve that, though. Just because it's the main event of a pay-per-view or a numbered event doesn't mean it deserves fight of the night. But, yeah. I don't know. I think it was a good fight, though. I think there were a lot of good fights on here. I think the rest of the main card, excluding Tai Tuivasa and, this fight, great finish. Crazy fight. Cool finish. Ugh. Great fight. Robbery. Stuff. Pick-wise, I did all right. Hopefully I'll continue positive streaks into the next one. This weekend, we have UFC Vegas 113. We're back in the Apex, the meta Apex at that, with Bautista versus Oliveira. Vinicius finally getting a huge step up in competition. Can he take it? What will he do? We're going to find out. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you guys want to see next. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.